friends, it is the one and only, the Little Southern Belle, MiMi Navah, and you're watching the Little Southern Belle, the podcast that helps you flourish. Alright, my friends, today we are discussing, well, the topic is, or I have to say, is that your parents are human. Your parents are human. What do I mean by that? As we get older and as we reach the beginning of adulthood, we realize a lot of things about our parents that may not sit well with us. All I'm gonna say is this: if we met our parents and they weren't our parents, we probably wouldn't be friends with them for the things that they've done or the things that they think. Now, this is a tough thing to process because we grow up admiring our parents and putting our parents on such a high pedestal to a point where they're above human. And as much as we love to do it as children, we have to realize as we get older that was just a fantasy we created in our head. Meaning that our parents are human just like us. They've been the villain in someone's story. They've been the robber, the cop. They've played all positions in multiple people's lives. And not all of them are positive and not all of them are negative. Should you love them any less? No. But what you should take account is how they are set up and why. A lot of people don't want to understand that a lot of people do the things they do because of how they were raised. Go back to my self-image episode, how they were raised, and also just for the mere fact of their motives. Most of our parents have done things out of survival, and it wasn't meant to hurt or harm anyone, but as they say, there's always casualties in war. So as you get older, you may realize that your parents may not believe what you believe, or you've grown to think differently. Now that is very disheartening to know that sometimes your parents will not support you in everything that you do. And how you handle and cope with that says a lot. Because I know I say here a lot, like, oh, don't worry about nobody else. Do you. That applies to your parents to some extent. Meaning that, not gonna like what I say, meaning that sometimes you have to not care about your parents' input. Yep. Sometimes your parents' input at a certain point does not matter. Yes, they're taking care of you financially. Yes, they're taking care of you just in general. Yes, these are the people that birthed you and did all these wonderful things for you. But to a certain point, you have to realize that your parents are human. And like any other human, they will sometimes doubt you and your abilities to succeed or your abilities to accomplish a desired task that has been on your list for the longest. As much as it hurts, you have to take it like it is and just be like, they're being human. This is who they are. Now, some people that have parents that have shown time and time again who they are, and it's not really the most pleasant person to be around. They've learned to tolerate and deal. And some kids have just moved away from their parents completely, dissing themselves, and they pick and choose when they want to be around. My take on all of this, for people who are trying to make it work with their parents because they have love, they have a bond, but this one incident or this one thing came to light and it broke the bond or it kind of tested it and messed it up, I'm here to tell you this. Your parents still love you. They just have a very twisted way of doing so. Even the good, quote unquote, good parents have a twisted way of showing that they love you. Meaning that they will do some things that may come out on some low vibrational energy towards you just to show how much they love you, but don't realize the fact of sometimes our parents forget that we are human as well, and they fail to respect our space, respect our boundaries when we become autonomous adults. Meaning that they will forget and keep you in the child space forever because that's how they've always known you. Most parents don't look at their children as human or individuals that are obligated or that deserve respect. Most parents are like, you do what I tell you to do, and that's it. Most parents get in the position of a parent, and for them it's all about control. And that's where you fail your child, and that's where you fail as a parent. being a parent-child relationship is not all about control. It's more so teaching them and growing them into an individual that is not codependent on you mentally, physically, or financially. And as parents, sometimes they forget that. Parents sometimes will hold on to things. Parents also, that whole thing I just said about how they will put control over making you grow into this great person. Sometimes they value control so much to the point where they don't want to see you grow up. They don't want to see you do things on your own. They will continuously put you in a position to where you will always need them because they love the idea of control. And when you realize that and understand that, the ways to maneuver around that is talk. I always tell people you have to let your parents know how you feel about certain things. You cannot let things stay bottled up. Please do not wait till an incident happens or a family thing happens and you want to blurt out. And no, there's a time and a place. And if you really want to establish a relationship with your parents, first of all, your parents are always wanting to help you, no matter what. They will use the last of everything they have to help you and to take care of you. Secondly, your parents don't want to see you fail. They don't. Sometimes our parents have things that they wanted to accomplish and they didn't. And they kind of bear that luggage and bear that weight with them. So when they see that you're falling in some type of footsteps of having a dream or having an idea that is bigger than yourself and just huge on its own, their own insecurities jump out and attack you. Now, can you fix that? Can you tell them that? You can tell them that, but I don't think it'll be received as well because mentally they're not where you're at. Because their insecurities are still jumping out and attack you. They haven't even tackled their own insecurities as a whole. Meaning that they have work to do. But since you are aware and you are becoming aware of just everyone in your surroundings and learning how to understand people for who they are and their background and things deeper than just what they say or what they do, you're understanding the motive behind everything that's being done. So now you have began to think profoundly when it comes to treating people, especially your parents. You won't take everything personally. Will you take note of it? Yes. Yes, you will. But you won't take it personally. Meaning that things are the way they are because of how they were raised. They push it onto you. You want better and you're going to do better because that's how smart you are. But you also have to realize that your parents are stuck in this mentally. Can you help them get out? Maybe you can if they listen. If you had a relationship with them. But people who want to make it work, you have to talk and be like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want. And you have to get to that point where you're just, honestly, the first step is just getting to the point of saying what you want, saying how you feel in a respectful way, because you want to give everyone respect. It's not just parent-child, but anyone around you when stating how you feel and clarifying any misunderstandings. You want to be respectful and direct. And that will clear any confusion, clear any misconceptions that may have been here. I can't tell you how many countless times I've talked to my mother and learned so much about her just by her telling me her story of just her journey in womanhood, her journey in adulthood. I was so scared to talk to her and come to her with things in my own personal concerns, and I realized that she used to deal with these things too. She used to have these problems too, and oh girl, she went through the same thing I went through, so she understands. So never have any misconceptions about your parents head on just because they're your parents. That will also block you from just opening up to them and letting them know what's on your mind and what's on your heart. Never, ever block an opportunity to be open and expand with someone, especially your parents. Now, I say all this to say that we're at home. Some of you have returned to your families, and some of you may have been like, I don't want to go back home. I don't want to deal with this, and this, and this, and this. Because my parents are really, they're really, and I'm just kind of like, this is time to tackle those things. This is the time to tear down any of those barriers that you put up between you and your parents because you're afraid to discuss these things, and you're afraid of the reaction. Stop being afraid of the reaction. At a certain point, you cannot be heavily influenced by your parents' thinking because they're not you and you're not them. So I hope you take this page from the Rulebook and apply it to your life. Stay flourishing, my friends.